A very good morning to you. Welcome to the AM News here on Global Television. We're live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agumofwebe. Amidst dwindling revenue and fiscal crisis, the federal government may incur additional 2 trillion liabilities if President Bola Tinubu signs the police pension bill into law. The Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria, PENOP, described the bill as retrogressive and unsustainable. In a statement by the Contributory Pension Scheme, CPS, they explained that the withdrawal of the police from the CPS will cause a shift back to the defined benefit scheme, leading to the dismantling of the institutions, systems and processes that the government had established to manage, adding that it will add financial burden on the government through unsustainable pension obligations. It says it could be recalled that the Senate on Tuesday passed the bill for the establishment of a police pension board, a move that will add extra burden on the federal government's pension liabilities. It was a busy day for motorists plying Gusau-Funtua Road as students of the Federal University of Gusau blocked the ever-busy highway in protest against the incessant abductions of students by armed bandits in the state. Defying armed security personnel in the state capital, hundreds of students blocked the major road linking Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, and Kaduna states. Our correspondent completes the story.
The protesting students started marching from Damba to Sabungida, the community opposite main campus of the university, alleging that 5 of their colleagues were kidnapped in Damba area, a community at the outskirts of Gusau, the state capital. The Federal University is expected to commence its second semester examination on Monday, which the protesting students says the examination will not hold until the abducted colleagues regain their freedom. Recently, several students of the university have been kidnapped with ransom being paid before they regain their freedom, while some are still in captivity. The students are appealing to the relevant authorities to come to their aid as they can no longer concentrate on their studies.
Yesterday, midnight, 5 students. Last month, 3 students were kidnapped. Up to now, 2 has not been released. The one they released, he paid a whole lot of money for him to be able, for them to release the guy. The government should please come to our rescue. We are living here. We don't sleep at night. We don't sleep. Every time. We can't even concentrate on our studies. We are going through a lot of emotional trauma. These people are tormenting us. And the school are not ready to do anything about these things. The school are keeping quiet. The school should help us. They should write letters to the government to help us concerning this insecurity.
Instead of them securing our life, they are threatening to killing us. In fact, at the initial stage, the gun was shoot to the air. Some people ran. The protest started from Damba, right from Sabongida. Our life doesn't matter to school, but they don't bother to care about us. In fact, the VC, I heard it, that the VC was even saying it, that it's going to lock the school if the protest did not stop less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. I have a plan less than 3 weeks. It's going to be a graduate. And now it's like this. We don't know if it's the same or not. And the school doesn't really care about us. Is that in school? They don't really care about us. Is that in school? Is that in school?
Stakeholders of the students' union in charge of Kebbi, Sokoto and Zamfara state call on the management of the university to put security measures in place to avert future occurrence.
Although this is not the first time students are being kidnapped, and last time you had a press conference to address the nation regarding the insecurity, especially for the students in Federal University Gusau Zamfara state. But this is so alarming and this is uncalled for. Recently, a lot of money has been given to these people so that we can have so much of our students. But again, this is very, very disheartening issue. 5 students were being kidnapped just recently, which majority of them are female students. We are not happy with this situation, and we are calling on the management to try and beat up the security of this very institution. And we are also calling on the Nigerian students to shun any violence, because violence cannot solve this very issue on ground.
The angry students blocked the highway for several hours before security agents forcefully dispersed the protesters. One of the students, reportedly beaten by security operative, was seen on the floor.
They won't kill us.
Kike Lomo Ukeri, Global Television News, Abuja.
Ahead of the meeting between the federal government and the organized labor scheduled to hold today, the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has said the government must meet its demands to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal. The union threatened that it would not hesitate to call out workers for industrial action, adding that it only suspended its planned strike. He stated that the high cost of fuel was inflicting unbearable hardship on Nigerians, adding that the government must act fast with respect to providing palliatives, as the NLC says it was expecting an increase in the minimum wage from 30,000 with a resolution to reconvene on June 19 to agree on the implementation framework of the resolutions reached. Let's turn to other stories for you now. The Department of State Services, DSS, says it has identified persons and groups planning to stage campaigns of calumny against states and the government over the suspension and investigation of Godwin Emefiele. In a press statement, spokesperson for the service, Peter Afunaya, said such groups intend to gather at different points in Abuja and Lagos in the coming week with placards depicting the service and the government in bad lights, as well as calling for the immediate release of the suspended Apex Bank chief. The DSS noted that it is aware of a cheap propaganda aimed at demotivating and distracting it from professionally executing the onerous responsibilities assigned to it. Afunaya said the DSS has also observed the misleading commentaries, speculative narratives, storylines and videos being circulated on social media by uninformed parties, critics and some desperate entities. He added that the security outfit is mindful of orchestrations to infiltrate its fold for the purpose of using disloyal staff for subversive aims against its leadership. While these efforts, according to him, are considered as hatchet jobs designed to distract, the service has warned the plotters to desist forthwith from their plans. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo says in the early days of Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, he was informed by the founders of the terrorist group that poverty and unemployment drove them into the crime. He, however, warned that the country's over 20 million out-of-school children were, in his words, a breeding ground for more Boko Haram members of the future, if not urgently tackled. He stated this at the launch of a book titled Pillars of Statecraft, Nation Building and the Changing World, authored by his daughter, Dr. Kofo Obasanjo Blackshear, at an event in Lagos. Responding to a question by a member of the audience on why government policies had become more political than people-centered in recent times, he said part of the country's major challenge was looking for scapegoats for its and the whereabouts of a yet-to-be-identified mother, her baby, and 6 other persons, including a man identified simply as Umar, have reportedly been unknown after flood induced by a heavy downpour washed them away in the Agege area of Lagos State. It was reported that during the heavy downpour on Thursday, flood overran a canal around the Abachoa area in Agege, and it leveled up the bridge, making it impossible for motorists and residents to navigate their destinations in the area. It was learned that the tricycle operator, while applying the axis, escaped death by a whisker when the flood swept his tricycle into the canal. As the flood was washing away the mother and her child, Wasiu said another resident, Umar, attempted to rescue the mother and her child by jumping into the flood, adding that the currents of the flood washed 3 of them into the canal. Quite a sad story there. You're watching the AM News here on Global TV, coming to you on StarTimes Channel 276 from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Do well to follow us across social media platforms at Global TV NG. More stories coming shortly. Be sure to stay with us. Thank you for staying with us on the AM News. As we turn to business now, a policy document prepared for the government by a panel of advisors for Nigeria to target an exchange rate of between 500 and 600 naira to the dollar says the country requires foreign exchange reserves of up to $60 billion. The economic growth document proposes a doubling of efforts to support the new government's growth ambitions. However, according to Reuters, Nigeria would need to more than double exports from $42.4 billion last year. The foreign reserves of Africa's most populous nation, which have been falling, stood at $35.25 billion at the end of May. Official data shows. Since the government was inaugurated on May 29, President Bola Tinubu has moved swiftly to reform the economy, scrapping a costly petrol subsidy and removing curbs on the foreign currency market, which saw the official rate of the naira tumble to record lows. Disbursement from the Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAC) to the federal, state, and local governments will rise on the back of the FX unification move, according to experts. On Wednesday, June 14, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) had announced the unification of all segments of the Nigerian forex markets into the investors and exports, also called IIN window, in a bid to improve liquidity and stability in the markets. This is particularly important for government revenue, which relies heavily on crude oil proceeds. The Nigerian government financial system operates a structure where funds flow to the three tiers of government from the Federation account using either a vertical allocation formula or a horizontal allocation formula. And now on the foreign scene, 40 people mostly pupils have been killed at the school in western Uganda by rebels linked to the Islamic State group. A further 8 people remain in a critical condition after the attack on Lubiria Secondary School in Mpondwe. Boys staying in dormitories are among the dead. Several others, mostly girls, have been abducted. Authorities say the Allied Democratic Forces based in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, having blamed Saudi Arabia's. And Saudi Arabia's top diplomats arrived in the Iranian capital on Saturday, the latest in the step towards restoration of diplomatic ties between the two Middle East rivals. Iranian media reported Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan shook hands and posed for photos for sitting down for talks. Prince Faisal is expected to officially inaugurate the kingdom's embassy later on Saturday in the capital. Both nations reopened their diplomatic missions in recent weeks. In March, Iran and Saudi Arabia agreed to re-establish diplomatic relations and reopen their embassies after 7 years of tension. It was a major diplomatic breakthrough brokered by China, lowering the chance of capital Abuja. Don't forget, we're on Star Times channel 276, and you can follow us across social media platforms. The handle is at Global TV NG. Thank you for watching. I'm Muyi Agumofwegbe. Global Morning continues here. Thank you for watching and have a great morning.